dud. Keep watching. Outnumbered Overtime atop the hour. Melissa, back to you.
Thank you. Former FBI Director James Comey is urging new Attorney General William Barr to prioritize transparency when Special Counsel Robert Mueller submits his final report on possible Russian collusion. In an op-ed for the Washington Post, Comey recalls his own experience as head of the FBI, saying the public's interest in high-profile cases like the Clinton email investigation required him to speak out, and that Barr should follow suit with the Mueller report. Comey writes, "It is difficult to imagine a case of greater public interest than one focused on the efforts of a foreign adversary to damage our democracy in which the President of the United States is a subject. Sometimes transparency is not a hard call." Brian, you chuckled.
Is there anybody who I'd like to hear from less than James Comey? And by the way, what a great learning moment it is for 2 years ago when he began to screw up the entire election process. Let's look back at what he did and usually make it opposite day. Do the exact opposite. Do you think William Barr says, I wonder what James Comey will do today? Are there bracelets to be handed out to a WWJC day, whatever that is? Nobody cares what James Comey thinks. Who is going to tell him? Me or you?
I think you just did, possibly. He was Chatty Cathy, the chattiest FBI director of all time, really.
By far.
Breaking with tradition. Kennedy, though, I mean, I guess it comes down to, there are a lot of people think he was trying to justify his actions by writing this op-ed. But is there anyone who thinks that he did, whether Republican or Democrat, that he did the right thing the last time around with Hillary Clinton's
No,
case?
and that's why everyone was mad at him, and he tried to paint himself as this hero who came in to save the day and to save justice. But
he still does.
He's an over-politicized hack. He made a lot of mistakes. He was fired for those mistakes. He would have been fired by either administration if Hillary Clinton had won. He certainly wouldn't still be FBI director. And yes, he is trying to justify going out and laying this entire case for why Hillary Clinton should have been charged, and then at the very end say, even though I'm not in charge of charging, I'm not charging.
Yeah. He damaged the campaign dramatically.
Yes.
Killing campaign. I
Yes.
think everyone agrees to that. So does his making the case for making this transparent undermine the very thing he's trying to make the case for? Because he kind of, by talking, is making the case for not making it transparent.
I don't think it will have any impact. I actually agree with what Brian said. I cannot think of anyone I want to hear from less on this issue, or many issues, than the former director, because of the way he handled the Hillary Clinton investigation. I think it absolutely hurt her campaign. He handled it totally irresponsibly and at odds with FBI protocol and practice. That all being said, I agree with the argument he's making that the Mueller report should be public. I mean,
I don't know what's in it. Maybe there's some stuff that we shouldn't have public. I'm not sure.
If there's anything about sources and methods and intelligence information, we should not. Everything else should be made public.
I don't have a problem with
We
with
have
the
sat on this couch and argued about what's in this
I don't have a
report
problem with
for
that.
2 years. We need to
We
see
paid
it.
for it.
30 million
If
bucks.
I paid for a pair of shoes, do I want to wear them? I want to wear them.
Here's
I
the
paid for
irony,
these, I'm
though.
wearing these.
I totally agreed with you, and I thought it should definitely be made public until he made this argument.
Yeah.
And it reminded me that he came out and he laid out what he said were the facts of the Hillary Clinton.
And did nothing.
And didn't do anything about it, and he damaged her without indicting her. And
That's
that
different.
reminded me of that, and I thought, well, maybe it shouldn't be made public by virtue of him making this argument.
It's a different. I think they're not comparable. I know what you're saying,
Yeah.
but I think, and he shouldn't have maybe drawn attention to that.
Right, he
But
did.
I think they're very, very different investigations.
Can I bring up one other thing?
Very different.
In that story, it says Rod Rosenstein is still the go-to guy in this, even though Barr has supervision. They still got to hand it to Rod Rosenstein. Do you believe
Is he
that?
going to be there?
Yeah, he's still going to be
I
there.
can hear the music for his going away party.
All right.
We got to see this report.
More Outnumbered in just a moment.